Hello. I am having a terrible time filming this video. I don't really know why. I don't know if it's because I'm out of practice or just not ready or what, but I need to get through it. So here we go. Hi! I've been wanting to do something on old movies for a while now, but I keep changing my mind about the specifics. So while I'm trying to work that out and get myself together, here's something that's a review of a book about old movies, kind of a best of both worlds deal. This book, 52 Must-See Movies and Why They Matter, ties in with Turner Classic Movies series The Essentials, a weekly program that had Robert Osborne and a seasonal celebrity guest host provide opening and closing commentary for a movie they deemed essential viewing. Writer and film historian Jeremy Arnold has gone through the list of 300 some odd films that have been shown on The Essentials and chosen 52 to feature. Why 52? So that if you like, you can have a year-long Essentials series of your own, one movie per week. I got this book from my parents last Christmas, and though naturally I sat right down and flipped through it and drooled over the pictures, I didn't read it right away. But with the recent sad news of TCM host Robert Osborne's passing, he's been on my mind a lot lately, and I knew that he contributed in part to this book, so I decided to read it. Jeremy Arnold covers each of the 52 films in chronological order, giving a concise one-sentence plot summary, a list of directors, producers, screenwriters, and cast, an explanation of what makes the film essential, and a few suggestions of what to look for when you watch the movie. It's a hefty paperback. I'm getting a workout from holding it up. It's kind of on the small side, I think, to be considered a coffee table book, but some might disagree. Still, it's very nice to have around. The cover is lovely, very smooth, with this beautiful metallic teal color and these silver and black photos of Cary Grant and Eva Marie Saint in North by Northwest, Sidney Poitier in the Heat of the Night, Gene Tierney in Leave Her to Heaven, Gregory Peck in Roman Holiday, and Dana Winter in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's a very shiny book, too, which you have probably figured out because I keep flashing the glare at you. I should warn you, it's a dangerous book to take outside on a sunny day, as I found out the hard way. And the book is loaded with photos. That's the highlight for me, because I love nice old film photos in books. They're very nice quality, printed on heavy paper, so heavy in fact that my hand cramped up after I'd been holding the book for a while. It is very tightly bound, especially when you first get it, so if you actually want to read it and not just flip through it, you have to not worry about ruining the pristine condition and let the binding and the glue loosen up a little bit. You'll hear a little bit of cracking, but it still seems to be in pretty good condition, and now I can open it farther than just like this. Anyway, the pictures are fantastic. You'll have to take my word for it, and each of the entries includes a couple of quotations from Robert Osborne and one of the various guest hosts of The Essentials. Robert Osborne's quotes further solidify my belief that I would have loved chatting with him. You know how it feels when you meet someone and the subject of movies comes up, and that person mentions a favorite film, and it's one of your favorites too, and you feel like, we could be best friends! Well, I get that feeling sometimes when I read his comments. Like when he says that The Third Man is, quote, one of his favorite films of all time, eek! And that in reference to Leave Her to Heaven, he's, quote, always been a sucker for Gene Tierney, who I agree is beautifully shot in that movie and mesmerizingly bad. How is the selection of movies in the book? Well, several of my favorites are included, like The Third Man and The Red Shoes, another stunningly beautiful film, so I can't really complain. I personally have seen 37 of the 52 films, 38 if I counted The Searchers, which I technically saw. My eyes were open, but I really was only half human at the time. I was lying semi-conscious on the couch recovering from a really awful stomach bug, and my brain was functioning at its lowest capacity, so I really can't count that movie. If the book intended to make you want to watch all these movies, whether you've already seen them or not, then I'd say it worked very well in my case. Really, all you have to do is describe a great scene to make me want to see it again, as is the case with the title song sequence in Singin' in the Rain, the Mouth of Truth scene in Roman Holiday, and the taxicab scene in On the Waterfront. Now I'm interested in seeing, for the first time, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Bicycle Thief, Gun Crazy, Seven Samurai, and I feel like rewatching Sunset Boulevard, White Heat, Out of the Past, and obviously, The Searchers. I think Arnold did a fine job compiling information about the different movies. It's not an encyclopedic amount of detail, it's only about a page and a half for each movie, and if you're a film buff and have been one for many years, then you've probably heard a lot of the behind-the-scenes stories already, but it's more than a light survey, and there were several anecdotes that I'd never heard before. His selection is dominated by Hollywood movies, and only 4 of the 52 are foreign language films. That's including 1927's Metropolis, which is silent, and the bulk are from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, with only a dozen dated 1960 or later. And of that dozen, I've seen only 4, so that probably tells you something about me. I don't think there was any film included that I flat out disagreed with, although I'm not sure North by Northwest is more essential than some other Hitchcock movies, and when Arnold called Invasion of the Body Snatchers, quote, the most essential science fiction film of the 1950s, I kind of quibbled just because I think there are some other strong contenders for that title as well, like The Day the Earth Stood Still and Gojira, but Arnold does make a compelling argument, and I can be persuaded. You do also have to take into consideration that the movies were chosen from what had aired on the Essentials. In other words, what TCM could get the rights to. I was surprised when I thought about some of the huge omissions, like The Wizard of Oz, It's a Wonderful Life, The Godfather, which is easily one of the most influential, most popular, and highest rated films of all time. I couldn't help thinking that as much as I love Now Voyager and was thrilled that it got a place on this list, it's not nearly as famous or popular or long-lasting or impactful as those other movies. But you have to consider the limitations of the book, it being based on the Essentials show, as well as the subjectivity of the term essential when you realize what's missing. Overall, I very much enjoyed reading this and loved looking at it, as I'm sure any old movie fan would, and I'm happy to have it in my film book collection. And I'd like to reiterate what a pleasure it was finding Robert Osborne's quotations sprinkled throughout the book. His comments are never pretentious, but are accessible, the trusty musings of an old friend. He was a classy, kindly man whose genuine love for and broad knowledge of all classic films made him the perfect host. Dependable, likable, irreplaceable. I know he'll be missed in our house, and in many others as well.